Hello, it's Randy Duck and welcome back to the channel. This time I've got a replay for you in the Tier 9 French heavy tank, the AMX M451. And what I'm going to do, it's two replays actually, and the first replay is using a Top Gun, the 127mm with the 470 Alpha, the bigger gun. And the second replay I'm using the smaller gun, which is 120mm with the 400 Alpha. And I was just going to go over which gun I prefer. So we'll get to that. At the moment, let's go over what we're on. We're on Proc. We are with Cthulhu, with our good pal Big Rossi, and it's Encounter. But the biggie, there's no fun police on the game. And that makes Proc a far more enjoyable map to play. I mean, I like it anyway, but it means I can play with a lot more freedom. And obviously the turret on this tank, the top tier turret which I have, is very strong. If I get a nice shot in there, back trap there on the move. So yeah, I can go hold down, use 8 degrees of gun depression this tank has, and block a lot of damage off of the turret, and I don't have to worry about keep relocating because of the fun police, so I'm able to use the ridge lines a lot more effectively. The one thing I will say with this tank, with this turret, although the turret is very strong, like it's got a decent turret to block a lot of damage off in front of me, it's very, very long, and you have to be very careful that when you're turning your turret to get shots at tanks, but just be very mindful that it's long. And if you're turning, if I poke up on this ridge, look left, go for a shot, then I'm disposing of a big flat piece of the turret armour, which you can be easily penned if you're flat on. So that's just something to be mindful of, and you have to be very careful for. So you see, I'm looking at this CX to the left, but I'm not going to poke over the ridge that way because I'm going to get absolutely torn to pieces by their enemy TDs at the back of the map. So yeah, that's the main thing I've got in this map. I don't have to worry about artillery, but I do have to just be very conscious of my turret when I'm turning, and that's why I'm constantly looking over my shoulder, looking what's left, looking what's right, so I'm aware of my surroundings, trying to count every time I see a tank on the map, just try and remember where it's located so I can get a rough idea where the tanks are. Now onto the gun, onto this bigger gun. Now, I'm going to be honest, I'll say right now, I prefer, personally, my personal preference, I much prefer the smaller gun, which is still a decent alpha, the 400 alpha, which you will see in the second replay. Now, the reason being is this top gun with the 470 alpha, although it's nice to have that extra alpha, you do have worse DPN, you do have a worse reload with this gun. And the main thing is, as well as you do have less pen, I am firing full APCR, yes, I'm filthy, but the pen on the APCR on the big gun, the top tier gun I'm using now is 290, which is okay, and I think on the smaller gun it's 315, which is very nice. But the biggest thing is the shell velocity on this gun, the bigger gun, is awful. It's like 800 or something around about there. It's very, very, very slow and very noticeable. On the smaller gun, the shell velocity is almost, not quite, but almost double the speed, and your shells just get there so much quicker, and that's why I preferred playing with a smaller gun. But I did also still have good games using the bigger gun, so I guess it's personal preference, but in my opinion, just for my personal playstyle, I'd rather have a gun with quicker shell velocity, and it has better DPN as well. So you see, we're on Proc. We haven't had to relocate because the damage is in front of us. We've got good shots, and they are getting lit up, so we're able to poke up and get shots in where we can. I'm being very careful because there is some nasty TDs at the back. If I overextend myself too early, then I'm going to take a lot of damage. But you see straight away there, I blocked for like 1,000 in that exchange, put myself up to 2,700 blocked, and got over sort of 2,000 damage and nearly 1,000 assistance. So it's a pretty close, tight game at the moment. You see, I'm going to go for a blind shot because I saw a shot over there. If it was fun, please. I just couldn't have sat here like this. I'd just have been dead already. But there isn't, so I can. So I'm just basically just looking for shots where I can and just making sure that I don't expose my turret too much. You see it here, I'm going to look over to my left. And I kind of got in my mind that at some point in this game, I'm going to try and push over and try and pick up some assistance. But it's all about calling when I want to do that. Because if I do it too soon, I'm going to get absolutely annihilated by too many teams there. It's got to be at the right moment, and you just sort of have to sense that moment for yourself when you're in the game and find out when it's time to go. So at the moment, it's not quite there. There's still 11 tanks in the game, and shots are still presenting themselves. Although not a lot of shots, they are there. I picked up nearly 3,000 damage. They're now pushing down the one line. This is when I was starting to think, you know what, I might start to push down here soon. If they push down that one line a little bit more and distract the guys down there, I should be able to push down the middle and try and get some shots. But at the moment, I'm just looking to try and get some shots in the things which should list up. I'm going to go for the one on the T49. I kind of shot my shell before the Concept 1B, but you can see the shell slow velocity there. It took quite a while for the shot actually to sort of land at the destination. I probably would have got that shot in if I was using the smaller gun. But this is where, I'm thinking, I've probably got to go here. I'm overextending here and I'm not getting shots, so I'm hitting from the left at the moment. So where I'm targeted, I think it's from the guys in front. And I'm going to try and push down, get into dip. I'm full hit points here, so I think it doesn't matter if I take some shots here. I want to move forward to get the most damage as I can. So I pick up a hill coming in, go for the little ram. I'm hoping to kill his buddy here because he's blocked 2 of the shots for me now. Now he's out, and I get a nice one for his cupola. I'm just using the wreck to sort of shield my lower plate here and only expose my turret just to give myself a little bit of an opportunity not to take any damage. But now I've got to push. You see I get shot across from the train tracks. I'm just going to keep full sending across because obviously, although this is a reasonable speed for sort of a big heavy tank and gets like 35-40 kilometers an hour, it's still heavy, so it's not going to outspeed a light tank or something like that. So I need to be ahead of the game. You see this light tank's now pushing across. I wanted to try and get to, it's obvious that the remaining tanks are on the hill. I wanted to get there before anyone else so I could try and light it up and get the assistance for myself. Unfortunately, that's not happened because the light tanks managed to get over there. But that's why I pushed sooner rather than later, just so I can actually, and hope to try and get a little bit more damage in. If I leave it too late, I won't get any more damage in. So we see this E6, we've still got 700 hit points. The stuff on the hill is distracted and don't have shots at me at the moment. So I'm just going to pop round and hope to see if we can get a kill. We do manage to pick up that kill, putting us up to 4,600 damage and 4,000 blocked. But that's pretty much going to be the end for the first replay. We're looking to see if we can get a shot on the hill, but it's not going to happen. And that is the end, brings us an end to the first replay. But we still have one more to go, which is using the smaller gun. So let's just get to the results screen and we can see how we did. So we've got 3 kills, 4,600 damage. We blocked 4,000, picked up the ace tanker, and I think we've got around about 2,000 assistance. And obviously our buddy Rossi came top there. So not a bad game with a top gun. But yeah, we've got a bigger replay for you to come as always. So stay with us and I will see you in a bit. Okay, so thanks for staying with us. We're on to the second replay now using the smaller gun. Still platooned up with Rossi, but we're on Hidden Village. We are very top tier, but we actually go on to having a really nice game on this map. It was one of the games where, well, I won't spoil it, but you have to fight a little bit for the win. So, yeah, so anyway, we want to counter Hidden Village. There's one fun place, we're very top tier. We're platooned up with Rossi. We're going to move, and I think I took the decision that I'm going to take the centre ridge because it's encounter and I was a cap. I didn't want to go along the sort of the far right sort of flank, just in the odd case that the enemy just decided to full send a counter and I needed to get the reset. So I decided that I was going to play the middle ridge, which does come with its risks, and the main one being the fun police. But the release is only one. So I'm just going to take the gamble that he doesn't kill us. That's essentially what we're going to do. We're going to, I don't want to stop him having a good, or him or her. I don't want the fun police to stop me having a good game. So we're in this location, which is quite nice. It would be good if I was in the Conqueror, because I had a little bit extra gun depression, but I can still use my turret here. The fact that I am top tier means I can play a little bit more aggressively poking that ridge as well, because a lot of tanks are going to bounce on me. And you see there, I slapped that shot in for 404, picking up the first pen. We do lose a shot of damage there, but we make sure we get one back into the concept B. And in a minute, here we go, we're going to see the fun police in action. Yes, so we do get caught out with the fun police there. So I'm not going to stay in the exact same location, just because I know he can hit me now. So I'm going to move slightly to the left. He can still hit me, but at least I'm moving a little bit, aren't I, to make it, at least so he might have to just turn his gun. One thing I will say about this smaller gun as well as having better reload, better pen, and most importantly, greatly improved, almost double the speed and the shell velocity, it is also slightly more accurate as well. So yeah, that's probably why I prefer using this gun. But yeah, as I say, the main reason is it's not necessarily the extra pen, it's the shell velocity of the round. I really like the shell velocity of the round. So we're having a decent start to the game. Although we have lost half our hit points, we have managed to do a little bit of damage and pick up a couple of kills. We see this. We're going to see if we can poke over and get a shot here. We're having to overextend too much to poke there, so I didn't fancy it. And I'm going to move down to see if I can get a shot at a different angle, so I don't have to expose so much. We get a nice shot into the light tank there, and that's a shot which I wouldn't have been possible with the other gun, because the shell round, it was just too slow, and there wasn't enough time to aim the shot to make up for the lack of shell velocity. So that's, it's just another example why I prefer using a smaller gun. We get another shot into the craft pump for there, finishing them off. And this is where it's getting a bit dicey, isn't it? It's like a 9 versus 12. We're starting to go down on the tanks, starting to go down to the numbers, and we're losing a bit of a map control. You see, I have a look over my shoulder, and this is where it does come in handy. I'm platooned with Rossi, because look, I've just said to Rossi, they're coming behind us. Rossi's like, yes, he's going to die here if we don't do anything about it. So I said, I'm going to go back, try and stop them getting shots on you from behind, or at least attempting to put a bit of pressure on them while you focus on the stuff in front of you, just to hold them off for as long as we possibly can. Because I think it's like a 6 versus 11 now, so they always double our numbers. So we need to try and work together and do the best we can. I need to be as aggressive as I can, try and kill these stuff behind as quickly as possible, take out the guns. So we're pushing this KV4. We do manage to finish him off. I'm just having a quick look to see if anything's going to jump over the ridge, and this MO3 does. I'm trying to get a shot and almost got the kill, about to get it up, and then the SU finishes him off for me. But just remember that I don't get that kill, because yes, we'll just remember that at the end of the game. But anyway, we're going to push around now. It's in like a 4 versus 9, and yeah, it's not looking great, but me sort of pushing around there has just kept Rossi alive a little bit longer. But unfortunately, I'm not able to get. I'm trying to get around as quickly as I can now and take out these TDs, which are shooting him from behind. Unfortunately, they have managed to land quite a few shots into him, so I need to take out this TD. At first, I thought he was out. So I actually kind of took an unnecessary shot of damage there, which is a shame, but we was under pressure. We didn't have a lot of time, so we did have to just make sure we take out the gun. So we've done a good job, but it's still in a 3 versus 6. Now Rossi is getting full pushed by the enemy team, so I rushed down to try and help him, but unfortunately for me, he does get taken out because there's just way too many, and that put us in the 6 versus 2. But I put it back now to a 5 versus 2. And I'm trying to focus the one-shots to get the guns down. We've done a good job of that so far. This icebreaker is a 2-shot to me, but he misses his shot. He gets shot by my friendly tank destroyer, which is brilliant. He puts it on a 1-shot, and now we take him out to a far more reasonable game. We've got a 2 versus 3 scenario, but they still have that fun piggy at the back, so I've just to be very careful. It'd be difficult for him to get a shot on me where I am now, or depending where he is. So I can't really push forward. We know that Jag Tiger's in the town, and I'm stuck here. And at the moment, I really am relying on my full health tank destroyer to be the distraction, essentially, so I can see if I can get any side shots into this Jag Tiger. I haven't got any shots, so I'm going to slowly nudge forward to see if I can get any shots into him to help out my TD. But as we do this, we kind of, the concept B is you know, obviously in the ridge line, that's put us in an awkward situation. I am a one shot to him, so I'm pulling back in to try and avoid getting shot. Fortunately for me, just misses my cupola, but I don't like this. I don't like sitting here because I've got a funny feeling the concept B is going to be able to kill me there. So I'm going to move in, risk the shot from the fun police and get behind the hard cover of Rossi's Conqueror. So even in his death, he's still helping me out. You know, being behind this Conqueror is good because the concept 1B is going to struggle to shoot my cupola behind this on the basis that it's not an easy shot. Also, all that fire and all that smoke, it's really hard to see through that. So it's going to make it awkward for him to get that shot in. My biggest concern is obviously the fun police. He missed his shot, so we're pushing forward to see if we can get a shot in. Because I had to do something, because I didn't want to get shot by the fun police. But then I looked like he was it felt like he was going to get a shot into my cupola there. So I pulled back down, and now the fun police is being killed. It's relieved a lot of pressure. But I am a one shot, and he does have 10 degrees of gun depression. So there's no kind of real reason. I don't want to throw this game because we've had to work really hard to bring this back to a winnable scenario. So I'm not going to do anything stupid. I'm going to have the patience now to realise that my tank destroyer is coming behind this guy, and it's only a matter of time until 1, the tank destroyer gets behind and kills him, or 2, the tank destroyer gets behind, the concept B is having to full send me, and then I'll finish him off before he gets a chance to do that. So that's my plan. I'm just not going to do anything silly. You see me rocking backwards and forwards to try not to get shot in the cupola. TD gets behind him, he has to try and go for the kill, and we then finish him off. But if you notice, we finished that game with 9 kills, so we just missed out on that Paul's medal, mainly because to the stack, we didn't manage to get the kill on that M103, which was so close to getting, and we would have had a Paul's medal. But nonetheless, it was a really decent game. I enjoyed playing that game just because it was a close game and it's one I had to fight for. So we got 9 kills, 5,261 damage. 492 assistance, 3,380 blocked. So yeah, hope you enjoyed this replay. As always, thank you so much for your support, and happy tanking.
Enemy in sight. Hadouken!